Finnegans Wake, Chapter 1, Part 3, by James Joyce. It was of a night late, lang time agone, in the old Stein Eld, when Adam was delving in his madam mean spinning water silts, when Mook Mounty Naughty Man was every bully, and the first leal ribber robber that ever had her ain way, everybody to his love-saking eyes, and every billy lived a love with every biddy else. And Jarl Van Hoother and his burnt head up in his lamp house, laying cold hands on himself, and his two little Jiminy's cousins of own, Christopher and Hilary, were kick-a-hilling their dummy on the oilcloth floor of his home rye, castle and earthen house. And Bidormot, who come to the keep of his inn, only the niece of his in-law, the prank queen, and the prank queen pulled a rosy one and made her wheat for a niece the dower, and she lit up and Fireland was ablaze. And she spoke to the dower in her petty Perusian, mark the wands. Why do I am a look like a puss of porter-peas? And that was how the skirmishes began. But the dower hand-worded her grace in Dutch Nassau, shut. So her grace O'Malice kid-snapped up the Jiminy Christopher, and into the shandy westerness she rain, and Jarl Van Hoother warlist after her with soft dove's gull. Stop, deef, stop, come back to my earring, stop. But she swore a did to him. Unlikelihood, and there was a brainy well that the same Sabbath night a falling angle somewhere in Erio, and the prank queen went for her 40 years' walk in Tourlamond, and she washed the blessings of her love spots off the Jiminy with soap silver suddles, and she had her 4 owlers masters for to touch him his tickles, and she convorted him to the one sure all good, and he became a luderman. So then she started to reign, and be Red Tom, she was back again at Jarl Van Hoother's in a brace of samers, with the Jiminy, with her in Pinnefrond, lace at night, at another time. And where did she come but to the bar of his Bristolly? And Jarl Van Hoother had his bare tholow bruised heels drowned in his cellar malt, shaking warm hands with himself and the Jiminy Hilary, and the dummy in their first infancy were below on the tear sheet, ringing and coughing like brother and hister. And the prank queen nipped a pally one and lit up again, and red cocks flew flackering from the hill combs, and she made her witter before the wicked, saying, Mark the twy, why do I am a looking like 2 pots of porter-peas? And shut, says the wicked, hand-wording her majesty. So her majesty, aforethought, set down a Jiminy and took up a Jiminy, and all the lily pathways to woe man's land. She rain, and Jarl Van Hoother bleathered at her with a loud Finnegale. Stop, dumb, stop, come back with my earring, stop. Frank Queen swara did. I'm liking it. And there was a wild old granny whale, and the Lawrencey night of star shooting somewhere in Erio, and the prank queen went for her 40 years' walk in Turnilmeem, and she punched the curses of Crumcruel with the nail of a top into the Jiminy, and she had her 4 larksical money tricks to touch him his tears, and she proverted him to one certain all secure, and he became a Christian. So then she started raining, and in a pair of changers, bedummed her, she was back at Jarl Van Hoother's on the Larry Hill with her under her ombramet. And why would she halt at all, if not by the word of his mansion home, of another nice lace for the 3rd charm, and Jarl Van Hoother had his hurricane hips up to his pantry backs, ruminating in his hold 4 stomachs, dare, oh dare, and the Jiminy tougher trees, and the dummy were beloved on the watercloth, kissing and spitting and roguing and pohoing, and knave paltry and naive bride, and in their 2nd infancy. And the prank queen picked the blank and lit out, and the valleys lay twinkling. and she made her wittest in front of the archway of Tri-Hump, asking, "Mark the tris, why do I am look like 3 possum pot o' peas?" But that was how the skirmishes end up. For like the campus a coming with a foreglance of lightning, Jarl van Huther Boanerges himself, the old terror of the dames, came hip-hop, handy-hap out through the pike-opened archway of his 3-shotten castles in his broad ginger hat and his civic cholar, and his alabuff hemmed, and his bull braggin socks and gloves, and his lad broke breeks, and his cat-cut bandolier, and his fur-frayne panuncular combots, like a rod yelling, grew blean orangeman in his violet indignation to the whole length of the strength of his bowman's bill. And he clapped his rude hand to his easy hitch, and he ordered, and his thick spick for her to shut up, Dappy. And the Dappy shut the shutter clap. Perkod hus kukurun bad gruak, Coca-Cola, jord grom gremet, gund hurth, ruma huna rid, dil dilly lily, fetil tilly boom mul, lunkan kun kunun. And they all drank free. For one man in his army was a fat match always for any girl's undershirts. And that was the first piece of alliterative pottery in all the flamed, floody, flatuous world. How Kersey the Tyler made us sweet unclose to the Norwalian capital. Saw for shalt thou she be town ye and be. The prank queen was to hold her dummy ship, and the Jimimies was to keep the peace wave, and Van Huther was to get the wind up. Thus, the hearsomeness of the burgher felicitates the whole of the polis. O Phoenix culprit, ex nihilo malo, comes Michaelmas bonum, heel rill, ones in company billeted less be proud of, breast high and bestride, only for that these will not breathe upon Norsen or Irenian the secrest of their source lostness. Quaris Alix, Humphrey noun swa, undigentian festinis, Livia non stua. Vulcan cap is on him frowned, audirient. He would eavesdrip, were it moose at hand, were it din of bottles in the far ear, murk his veils are darkling, with lipth she lippeth to him all to time of thutch on thutch and thou on thou. She, he, she, ho, she, ha, tula, hair fluke, if he could bad twig her, impalpabunt, he abheres. The sound waves are his buffeteers. They trump him with their trumps. The wave of Rory, the wave of whooshed, and the wave of how hard, and the wave of never heed them horse luggers and listul tomine. Lan luft by his Niagabur mistress and perpetrified in his offspring, sabes and suckers, the moaning pipers could tell him to his face back, the louthly one whose laub we are devourers of, how but for his hold halibut, or her to her puder puff, the lip one whose libe we drink at, how biff for her tiddywink of a windfall, our breed and washer givers, there would not be a holy spear on the town, nor a vestal flouting in the dock, nay to make plain avowals, nor you nor an I to play cash in Novo Nilbub by swamp light, nor tool at all, and not a hint to the convey neans. He dug in and dug out by the skill of his tooth for himself, and all belonging to him, and he sweated his crew beneath his auspice for the living, and he earned his dread. That dragon volant, and he made louse for us, and delivered us to bold weevils amain. That mighty liberator, un fruk chikta uru wukru, and begad he did our ancestor most worshipful, till he thought of a better one. In his widower's house, with that blush mantle upon him from year's end to year's end, and would again, good, whispering, grasses wake him, and may again, when the fiery bird Decembers, and will again, if so be sooth by elder to his younger shall be said, have you wines for my wedding? Did you bring bride and bedding? Will you whoop for my deading? Is wake? Oos kua bagam. Anam muk an dul. Did ye drink me dornel? Now be easy good, Mr. Fenimore, sir, and lay your leisure like a god on pension, and don't be walking abroad. Sure, you'd only lose yourself in Heliopolis. Now, the way your roads in Capel of Aster are that winding there after the Calvary, the Northumbrium, and the Fibs Barrow, and Wadling's Rain, and the Bower Moor, and what your feet may be, with the foggy dews abroad, meeting some sick old bankrupt, or the Cutterick's donkey with his shoe hanging, clankata chankata, or a slut snoring with an impure infant on a bench. 'Twould turn you against life, so 'twould. And the weathers, that mean too. To part from Devlin is hard as Nugent knew. To leave the clean tangle some one lushier than its neighbours' infranchisable fields. But let your ghost have no grievance. You're better off, sir, where you are, prime-signed in the full of your dress, blood-eagle waistcoat and all, remembering your shapes and sizes on the pillow of your baby girls under your sycamore by the killed water where the Tories clay. We'll scare the varmints and have all you want, pouch, gloves, flask, bricket, kerchief, ring, and ambrolla. The whole treasure of the pyre in the land of souls with Homen and Broin Baroque and Pole O Lonan and No Bucket Nosler and Guinness Gis Khan. And we'll be coming here, the umber players, to rake your gravel and bringing you present, won't we, Finians? And isn't it our spittle we'll stint you off? Is it, druids? Not shabby, little images, penny dirts, and dodge my eyes you buy in the sooty stores, but offerings of the field, mielodories, that Dr. Faherty, the medicine man, taught to gooden you. Poppy paps a passport out, and honey is the holiest thing ever, was hive, comb, and earwax. The food for glory. Mind you, keep the pot, or your nectar cup may yield too light. And some goat's milk, sir, like the maid used to bring you. Your fame is spreading like Basilico's ointment, since the Fintan Lallers piped you over border, and there's whole households beyond the Bothnians, and they calling names after you. The men here's always talking of you sitting around on the pig's cheeks under the sacred roof tree, over the bowls of memory where every hallow holds a hallow, with a pledge till the drengs in the salmon house, and admiring to our super shilialk, where the palm sweat on high is the mark of your monument. All the Toeth peaks ever, Irnesians, chewed on are chips chipped from that battery block. If you were bowed and soiled, and let down itself from the owner of the load, it was that paddy planters might pack up plenty, and when you were undone in every point for the lapse of goddesses, you showed our labour lasses how to free was easy. The game old gun, they do be saying, skull. That was a planter for you, a spicer of them all, begog, but he was the G.O.G. He's doot and goon now, and we're after finding the source of his sedic, but peace to his great limbs, the Budokch, with the last league long rest of him, while the million-candled eye of Tuskar sweeps the Moylian main. There was never a warlord in great Erins and Bretland, no, nor an old Pike County like you, they say. No, nor a king, nor an art king, bung king, sung king, or hung king, that you could fell in Elm's 312 urchins couldn't ring round and hoist high the stone that Liam failed. Who but Macacolamore, the Rhys of our fortunes, and the Fauny man at the funeral to compass our cause. If you was Hugglebully itself, and most thrifty, like you was taking water still, But oh, where was your like to lay the cable, or who was the batter who could better your grace? Mick Mag Magnus Macaulay can take you off to the pure perfection, and Leatherbags Reynolds tries your shuffle and cut. But, as Hopkins and Hopkins puts it, you were the pale eggy naggy Anna kissed to tilly up. We calls him the journey all bugaloff since he went to Jerusalem faring in Arcia Manor. You had a gamier cock than Pete, Jake, or Martin, and your archgoose of geese stubbled for All Angels' Day. So may the priest of 7 worms and scalding table, Papa Vestre, come never anear you as your hair grows wheater beside the Liffies that's in heaven. Hip, hip, hurrah there! Hero, 7 times there too we salute you. The whole bag of Keats falcon plumes and jackboots incloted is where you flung them that time. Your heart is in the system of the she-wolf, and your crested head is in the tropic of Capricorn. Your feet are in the cloister of Virgo. Your Olala is in the region of Sahuls, and that's ashore as you were born. Your shock ticks swell, and that there Texas is tow linen. The lonesome roam to Lafayette is ended. Drop in your tracks, babe, be not unrested. The heady body'll watcher of the temple of Isid. Totum calmum saith, I know thee, Mether Jar, I know thee, salvation boat, for we have performed upon thee, thou abomination, who comest ever without being invoked, whose coming is unknown, all the things which the company of the precentors and of the grammarians of Christ Patrick's ordered concerning thee in the matter of the work of thy tombing, how of the shipmen's steep wall. Everything's going on the same, or so it appeals to all of us. In the old homestead here, coughings all over the sanctuary, bad scrant to me, Aunt Florenza. The horn for breakfast, one agone for lunch and dinner time. As popular as when Belly the First was king and his members met in the diet of man. The same shop slop in the window, Jacob's leather crackers and Dr. Tipple's Vi cocoa, and Esward's dissipated soup beside Mother Seagull's syrup. Meat took a drop when Riley Parsons failed. Coal's short, but we've plenty of bog in the yard, and barley's up again, be grain to it. The lads is attending school, Nessins regular, sir, spelling bees knees with half a tansy and turning out tables by mud application, all for the books, and never pegging smashers after Tom Bogue Lasshorse or Timmy the Tosser. 'Tis really the truth. No, isn't it? Roman Pathorix, you were double-jointed janitor the morning they were delivered, and you will be a grandfer, yet entirely when the right hand seizes what the left arm knows. Kevin's just a dote with his cherub cheek, chalking ogres on walls, and his little lamp and school belt and bag of nicks playing postman's knock around the diggings, and if the seep were milk, you could leave his old by his eyed, but louse sake the devil does be in the nerps of a Jerry sometimes. The Tarantan plaid boy, making an costive income out of the last of his lavings and riding a blue streak over his Bourse shirt. Hetty Jane's a child of Mary. She'll be coming, for they're sure to choose her, in her white of gold, with a torch of ivy to rekindle the flame on Felix Day, but Essie Shanahan has let down her skirts. You remember Essie in our Luna's convent? They called her Holly Mary, her lips were so ruddy berry, and Pia the Pure Belle when the Red Miners' riots was on about her. Were I a clerk designate to the Williams Woods manufactors, I'd poster those powders on every jam in the town. She's making her rep at Lanners twice nightly, with the tabarine tam-tammers of the whirly gigamagis. Beats that cachucha flat. 'Twould dilate your heart to go. Easy now, you decent man, with your knees, and lie quiet, and repose your honour's lordship. Hold him there, Ezekiel Irons, and may God strengthen you. It's our warm spirits, boys. He's sporing. Demetrius O'Flaganon. Cork that cure for the clan Carties. You swamped enough since Portobello to float the Pomeroy. Fetch Nia here, Pat Coy, and fetch no you. Pam Yates, be neither angst of Rama witch, here's Lumbos, where misty swadlum, where mischief lodge none, where mysteries pour kind on, oh sleepy, so be it. I've an eye on queer Behan and old Kate and the butter, trust me. She'll do no juggly-wuggly with her war souvenir postcards to help me to build me Muriel tippers. I'll trip your traps ashore there. And we put on your clock again, sir, for you. Did or didn't we, share stutterers? So, you won't be up a stump entirely, nor shed your remnants, the stern wheels crawling strong. I seen your missus in the hall, like the queen of year. Arrah, it's herself that's fine too, don't be talking. Shirksains! You story and happy chap longa me happy chap story and grass woman ploughty good trout. Shakes hands. Dibble a hay fork's wrong with her, only her Lexis Salig. Boad Tib does be yawning and smirking cat's hours on the Pollux' woolly round tabaret cushion, watching her sewing a dream together, the tailor's daughter, stitched to her last, or, while waiting for winter to fire the enchantment, decoying more nesters to fall down the flue. It's l'avalanche that blows no pussy food. If you only were there to explain the meaning, best of men, and talk to her nice of gold and silver, the lips would moisten once again, as when you drove her to Findrinny Fair. What, with reins here and ribbons there, all your hands were employed, so that she never knew was she on land or at sea or swooped through the blue like our winger's bride. She was flirtsome then, and she's fluttersome yet. She can second a song and adores a scandal when the last post gone by, fond of a concertina and pears passing when she had her 40 winks for supper after Cannacannon and Abilene dimpling, and is in her Merlin chair assotted, reading her Evening World. To see is its smarts, full lengths or swaggers. News, all the news. Death a leopard kills fella in fez. Angry scenes that storm out. Still a star with her lucky in goings aways. Opportunity fair with the China floods, and we hear those rosy rumours. Ding-tams he noise about. Oh, same Harry chap. She's seeking her way, a chuckle in and out of their serial story. Le loves of Selska et Provence. Freely adapted to the Norwegians vive. There'll be bluebells blowing in the salty sepulchres the night she signs her final tear. The end. But that's a world of ways away. Till track lost time, no silver ash or switches for that one, while flattering candles flare. Anastasies, how are you? Weather waste in the noblest, says Adams and Sons, the would-pay actioneers. Her hair's as brown as ever it was, and wivy and wavy. Repose you now, fin no more, for be that same sake sib substitute of a hooky salmon, there's already a big ruddy ram lad at random on the premises of his haunt of the hundred bordels, as it is told me. Shop illicit, flourishing like a Lord Major or a boa bay bomb. Letting flop, a deadlock, a loose to lee, but lifting a bend branch, or yard along. Ivoa, the breezy side for show 'em. The height of Brewster's chimney, and as broad below as Phineas Barnum, humping his share of the shoulders, is senken on him. He's such a grand faller, with a pocked wife in pickle that's a fly fire, and 3 lice nittle clinkers, 2 twilling bugs, and 1 midget pucelle. And either he cursed and recursed and was ever seen doing what your 4-footler saw, or he was never done seeing what your cool pigeons knew. Weep the clouds a boon for smile down witnesses, and that'll do now about the fairy he's and the fairy she's. Though, set fibble it to the Zephyroth, and zoom it round her heavens forever. Creator he has created for his creatures, one's a creation. White, monothoid, red, theatrocat. Aha! And all the pink prophets, Kohalathin. Very much so. But however, 'twas too sure for one thing, what Sheriff Torag vouches for's, and Mapik makes put out, that the man, the Cheapner, Esquire, overseen as we thought him, yet a worthy of the name, came at the time-coloured place where we live in our parochial firmament, one tide on another, with a bum rush in a hull of a wherry, The twin turbine Dow, the bay for Dibbling, this archipelago's first visiting schooner, with a Wicklow pattern waxen wench at her prow for a figurehead, the Dead Sea Dugong, up dip dripping from his depths, and has been re-preaching himself like a fish mummer these 60 years ever since his Shebby by his side, Addy and Aid growing whorish under his turban, and changing cane sugar into self-thulose starch. Tut says to him, as also that batten the bulky hood he bloats about. When inebriated, our old offender was humile, commune, and ancestuous from his nature, which you may gauge after the by-names was put under him in lashons of languages. Honey and suit and praisers be, and totalisating him, even hamism of himishim, that he, sober serious, he is ye, and no counter he who will be ultimately responsible for the hubbub caused in Edinburgh.